Hi, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Washing Dishes, where we're making some chai concentrate and ginger syrup, and we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start with about a cup of black peppercorns, about 144 cloves, almost 100 green cardamom pods, 35, I think this is actually 36 black cardamom pods, a whole bunch of cinnamon sticks. I used 40 something, 45 or 50. We're going to spread these out on our baking sheet and pop them in a 350-degree oven just until they start to get toasty and fragrant. And this is going to form the basis for our chai tea concentrate. Chai tea is kind of redundant because chai means tea, but I'm an American. And about 20 to 25 minutes later, here they are, deliciously toasted and steaming. And we can go ahead and add, I'm just going to pop on a few macroot lime leaves, dried macroot lime leaves. And these are just going to add some kind of citrusy, aromatic, kind of herbal, like floral flavors. They're really delicious. And with that all ready to go, we can go ahead and get started chopping up the ginger for both the syrup and for the chai. This is a lot of ginger. I think I used for the syrup, I chopped up enough to get 4 cups. And sorry, for the chai, I chopped up enough to get 4 cups. And for the syrup, I chopped up, I think, another 2 cups. So we're just going to speed through that as my camera falls over, and we'll move on from here. And now's probably a good time to mention that I am making an extremely concentrated mixture. So this I'm going to be making 6 quarts of concentrate that dilutes down 2 to 1. So the 6 quarts we're making here will make 12 quarts of chai. I hope that makes sense. Um, this is a modified version of Josh Weissman's recipe, which you can find on his website, and he's got a video of it. And I'll put a link in the comments or in a card or something like that, just so I can give credit where credit is due. And once we've got everybody into the pool, we're going to go ahead and bring the heat up to a simmer. That's the ginger going in. I've already got all of the toasted herbs, and we're also going to grate some nutmeg in a little bit, about a tablespoon of nutmeg. And then I'm using 3 cups mixed of dark brown sugar and white sugar, and that'll get it going. We want to give this a quick stir now, and we're going to come back to it every little bit while it's heating up and simmering, and give that a quick stir again. We're just kind of, making sure that everything moves around, nothing sticks to the bottom of the pan and scorches, anything like that. We just want to make sure we get really good, flavor extraction and get as much flavor out of all of these ingredients as possible. We also want to make sure that the sugar dissolves and mixes thoroughly. There's things that can go wrong, and stirring solves most of them. And now that everything has been at a simmer for about 20 minutes, we're going to go ahead, give it one more stir just to make sure everything's all mixed together. And then we're going to go ahead and add, so for this mixture, I'm using 6 cups of black tea. I'm using an Earl Grey. You could use any other kind of black tea that you like. I would imagine you could use just about any kind of tea that you liked, but This is not a traditional recipe in the first place, and I think from what I understand, the traditional recipe is remarkably varied. So, make it taste good. Make it taste the way you want it to taste. And with the tea in, we're going to cut the heat and let it steep for about, 6 to 10 minutes just to let the tea flavor extract, but we don't want to, over extract and get bitterness. Now that the tea has had some time to steep, it's time to strain and bottle this. If you had a convenient container, you could tip this through a strainer. I decided that it was better to just kind of take my time and strain out the solids. I'm going to lose some of the liquid as I do this. It's an acceptable loss to avoid the risk of tipping a big pot of something and potentially spilling it. That's definitely not foreshadowing, don't worry. Now I'm bottling this into quart containers. I went on Amazon and bought some of these little flip top jars so I could give this away as a holiday gift. You could do, mason jars or washed out leftover spaghetti sauce jars, like whatever's convenient. This doesn't need to be a whole big production like I made it into because I felt like it. I'm filming this and I'm making this as a gift, but you could whip this up in a little sauce pot, just make a quart or two of it, pop it in the fridge, and you'd be good to go. Like I said, I'm making holiday gifts, so I'm putting them into these cute jars that I got off of Amazon. But there's lots of ways to do it, and the right way to do it is the way that works best for you. With our tea concentrate bottled, let's go ahead and start on our demerara simple syrup, which is a 2-to-1 mixture. This is demerara sugar. You could use brown sugar, you could use white sugar, and an equal part of water. So I'm using 2 cups of water and a pound of sugar. You basically want to do this by volume, but sugar is 16 ounces of sugar weighs 16 ounces. And you're just going to stir this occasionally over medium heat until it dissolves. And then we're going to go ahead and add our ginger and cook it and steep the ginger for about 20 minutes. You want it at a not quite a simmer. You don't want to cook off too much of the water, but you do want it to be hot enough to extract the flavor and liquid and oils from the ginger. And that's basically it. It's called simple syrup for a reason. So now the other part of this that should also be pretty simple is straining it. And it is pretty simple to strain this unless you're, busy looking at the screen on your camera instead of the actual thing you're doing and whoopsies, time to clean up. As one might expect, this gets bottled much in the same way as the chai concentrate. I'm using, I believe these are pint jars. I can check my notes, but they're pint, let's call them 8-ounce jars. And I forgot to let an air gap through because I was, again, busy looking at the camera and not looking at what was going on. But yeah, so you just fill the jars, set them aside. You don't want to fridge these until they've cooled down to room temperature because the shock can cause the jars to break. But also 2-to-1 ratio simple syrup doesn't need to be refrigerated. It is shelf stable because there's too much sugar in it for anything to go bad. And just like that, we've got a bunch of wonderful chai concentrate and ginger syrup to go in it or use for any number of other uses. And these are going to make wonderful holiday presents for my friends. Hey, thanks for staying till the end. I really appreciate it. If you like that, check out a couple of these other videos. They're probably up your alley too. I have a Twitch channel at twitch.tv/washinthewind. I'm on Twitter at Wash in the Wind, and I'm on Instagram at Wash in the Wind, but without the E, mostly because of the character limit. If you'd like to show some support, a Twitch sub or a Patreon subscription would be wonderful, but what helps the most is a like, a subscribe here, and sharing the video with your friends. I hope you've had a wonderful time enjoying the video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your time zone. Thanks very much for watching.